wanna be on? You wanna be on?
Hey you! Yeah, you out there, on the web. I bet you think you've got top model game, but let me ask you this. Have you watched all 24 cycles multiple times? Have you dipped into the international versions? Do you too know the pain of cycle 23? Welcome to my world. I'm addicted to this show. It's the original, it's the classic, and it will always reign supreme. Everything from the bonkers photo shoots to the granola drama to the occasional plague panic. It's just too fierce for this world. It might not have helped launch everyone's modeling career, but it's provided a solid 15 years of entertainment. But much like the show itself, this video isn't really about the modeling thing. It's all about Tyra, baby.
Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks. Tyra!
Tyra.
Don't go, Tyra. This woman is amazing.
Can I just touch the hem of your garment, girl?
She's an entity.
Her presence fills the room.
She's a force.
And then she looks so good.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness.
She's extraterrestrial.
This program would be nothing without the irreplaceable Tyra Banks, and with the release of the sequel to the iconic Life Size next month, I think this is the perfect time to celebrate all the joy she's brought us. From the amazingly over-the-top to the hilariously vain, we're going to be counting down 13, you heard me, lucky number 13, of Tyra's best hits. So toot your booches, do the owl giraffe, and set your eyes to smize, because these are America's Next Top Model's 13 most Tyralicious moments. Number 1. Tyrazilla. First things first, if you have not been blessed with the beauty that is America's Next Top Model, a good summary of Tyra Banks is that she's the type of person to gift the contestants with self-designed necklaces with her own name in the hopes that they're worn in every talking head and elimination.
I designed these myself just for y'all.
So what I'm about to show you makes perfect sense knowing this context. Okay, so for the finale of the British invasion season, they've headed to China to stomp the catwalk. And while this runway is absolutely hilarious, it includes exploding models and sword battles.
Oh my god.
My absolute favorite part is that it begins with a giant Tyra Banks invading the city. Okay, so I really have no idea what this has to do with anything in the show. It's left utterly unexplained. Maybe Tyra thought she was in Japan for a moment, I don't know. But that doesn't really tell us why there are multiple little Tyras as well. An actress, a director, a reporter, who are they? What purpose do they serve? What does this have to do with the sword battles or Forever 21? I guess Tyra decided to leave us with a bit of mystery.
What's going on is one of the most amazing shows in top model history.
I adore that she took the time to film this and put it in the show for no reason whatsoever other than to include herself. I think it's clear to all of us, Tyra is larger than life. Number 2. How do you do, fellow kids? Fast forward a million years into the future, one cycle later, and things are getting pretty dire in Top Model Town. Clearly the ratings weren't doing so well, so they decided to make one of, if not the worst cycle of Top Model ever, the college season. There are many reasons I say it's the worst, but to sum it up, if you ever had a strong desire to be perpetually trapped in a frat party, this is the cycle for you. Anyway, to make a long story short, the show was 9 years in, and they were losing traction with their desired demographic. You gotta go back to cycle 8 for that kind of peak demographic pleasure.
I made a pee-pee.
I made a pee-pee, mommy.
They hadn't appealed to the teens since myfiercepage.com, so they needed a refresh. Get with the times, Tyra. Enter YouTube superstar, Patrick? Oh, and also we can't show that it's YouTube, and I guess they're just lounging outside talking as this is broadcasting? They may have been dead at the beginning of it. I don't know. I lost the plot a bit. Just throw on some quirky acronym shirts and make them LOL.
A total H2T makeover.
Surrey Cruz, Blue Ivy Carter, Shiloh Jolie Pitt. Look me in my smize.
And like everybody at home, fierce. Totally amazing. Totes amaze!
Totes embarrassing! As you can imagine, this was an omen of things to come. Hi, I'm Brian Boy, social media expert. My job is to annoy the audience. One thing's for sure, these are the judges the blogs have been blowing up about.
We have some amazing new judges that the blogs have been blowing up about.
Hey kids, have you ever been to the blogs? And Tyra might be a fellow kid, but don't forget, she went to Harvard. Management Extension Program.
Big, fierce Harvard College ideas. Let me get an Ivy League booty tooch.
Get the DJ, it's the Harvard remix. Number 3, Making Kids Cry. ANTM is a serious modeling show, guys, and Tyra often likes to impart important life lessons to the contestants by way of tough love. Remember the time she told Corey he was eliminated just before the final runway, but he still had to walk? Because one time she was cut from a show last minute, which is totally the same thing as getting cut but still having to do the show with no pay. But it's okay, because as a gay eliminated person, he's a hero.
LGBT, holla, 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 hero.
Holla holla holla, you're cut? But more often than not, Tyra's gonna lay these lessons on them in a much more comical fashion. Tai is such a jokester, and if there's one thing she loves more than a prank, it's making kids cry.
Doink likes to make children cry.
Doink, bruh! Making kids cry, bruh!
Take, for instance, Cycle 16, where she totally goes punked.
I'm gonna take a cue from Twitter King and ultimate prankster himself, Ashton Kutcher.
A reference that will be forever timeless. After captivating the audience with hilarious caricatures of contestants past, Tyra tells the girls they've selected that they're actually the ones eliminated. They think they're going home. Get a taste of the real world, girls.
No. Hell no. I don't think so.
Pretty funny joke, right? Now you get to live in a house covered in pictures of me.
So I'm gonna get out of here before you guys beat me up. Bye!
The best fake out reaction has gotta be Nicole, though. She thinks she's cut, but they're actually packing their bags for London.
Because we're all going to London! And you.
Delicious. I feel so bad for her, but there's just this irresistible urge to laugh when I see her weeping for her future as confetti blasts down and Tyra turns into Oprah and suddenly the Queen's Guard comes marching in like some bizarre YouTube boop.
Because we're all going to London!
Sometimes there is no lesson, and it's just an excuse for Tyra to show off her acting skills, as was the case when she pretends to be gravely ill during a meetup with the girls.
Somebody bring some water.
We're talking a miscalculation of epic proportions. Oh my god, check Tyra's pulse! She's on death's doorstep!
What's her pulse? Check her pulse.
Tyra may actually be dying. She's that good of an actress.
Today you guys are going to learn about acting!
Look how pissed Danielle is. She can't even pretend that was funny. Not even free shirts could appease her.
That was a good job.
Stunningly, in a way Tyra never could have predicted, some of the girls are extremely upset at seeing their hero have a health crisis in front of them. This pranky poo went so poorly, in fact, that she ends up apologizing for it later in the episode. But I don't know, it kinda undercuts the sincerity when she starts out judging like an episode of The Chris Farley Show.
Remember that?
You remember that?
We do indeed remember that, Tai, Queen of Comedy. Which brings me to its spiritual successor on this list. Number 4, Tyra Night Live. Not every Tyra acting exercise is mean-spirited. Sometimes it's just good old-fashioned silliness. And boy, does Miss Banks love to throw in comedy sketches into this reality TV show about modeling. Whenever this happens, I'm either gonna groan, do the chef finger kiss, or both. It's a hysterical combination of bad acting and failed attempt to seem relatable.
Hey, what's up? I'm Tyra Banks, and I'm gonna be America's Next Top Model. Welcome to Inglewood. Oh, I can box. Oh, no, you didn't, bitch.
Ty loves an excuse to wear a costume, and wear them she does. During the All-Star season, she shows us her range by pretending to be a handful of their most memorable contestants, all while sleeping in a fully lit room with her smize teddy bear. Not to mention, they had all of the girls on set already, so having her play all of them anyway is clearly just because of her insistence. Not even nominated for an Emmy? Haters! She was let down by the editing, that was the problem. It just overshadowed her good work. But I want to talk about the time she puts on this totally necessary fairy godmother getup to explain everyone's makeovers. Whoops, I mean tie-overs!
The good fierce witch is here with you to make everyone pretty.
That in itself is not that out of the ordinary for the show, but I did want to highlight it because it's a combo with the previous entry in this list. The setup to this theme is an outlandish 3-person play Tyra has cooked up where both of the Jays are the evil queen and Prince Charming to her Snow White. This is a strategic move on Tyra's part because she knows Mr. J will make her acting skills look much better in comparison. Miss J slouches out of the corner, using an accent so bad they have to subtitle him, and hands Princess Tyra a poison apple, which she drools all over herself, so half the bit is spent with chewed up apple in her cleavage. After she eats it, she swoons in front of the girls, who feign concern, because let's relive the great memories of seasons past.
Remember that?
That was a good job.
Number 5. The artist formerly known as Tyra. Alrighty folks, we're taking a trip back to classic ANTM in Cycle 2. Tyra has many skills. Supermodel, entrepreneur, talk show host, Harvard graduate, and slasher victim. A fierce to be reckoned with. And around this time in 2004, Ty fancied herself a singer. In what was one of our first real windows into Tyra's self-image, we are told that the models will be dancing in a music video to her debut single, Shake Ya Body. Because, you know, modeling is about movement too or something. And how are we delivered this mind-blowing news that Tyra is also a pop superstar? Via badly looped-in Mr. J lines, of course.
I have the honor and privilege to tell you girls some big news. You will be dancing in a music video. And the best part is the video is for the debut single from our very own Tyra Banks.
It'll be an honor and a privilege for you to pretend I really said that. Things proceed to turn into a delicious vanity project as the contestants are shoved into the background and Tyra Aguilera gives us the scoop on her budding music career, which of course is an honor and a privilege for us.
Everybody knows me as a model. I mean, that's what I've been doing for a really long time. And now I'm moving into the world of recording artist. And I'm nervous.
Me too, girl. This is understandably a big deal because, as the director for the video explains, this isn't just any shoot.
A real day, a real film shoot. Moving images.
Oh, did you hear that? Moving images. You won't get that kind of insight on Heidi Klum shows. To be fair, this was 2004. People were still listening to Top Model on the radio. That is, until the Shake Ya Body music video blasted into their lives. This video is the bomb. First of all, this was apparently a culmination of 6 years of work according to Tyra, and that was 6 years worth it because the end product is a delight. And ahead of its time. Not only is it widescreen in a full screen world, it's moving images. I'm not quite sure what this backstage diva footage really has to do with dancing in the club, but the fact they featured Tyra throwing a wig in one of the contestants' faces like we've just been transported into a RuPaul video is a sight to behold.
What about Tyra?
Come here.
It looks like Jay smacked Shandy in the face mid-wig catch. This can't have been their best take, my friends. If I'm being honest, this song is actually super catchy, and Tyra's voice is not bad. I guess her future as a singer was not written in the stars. But take heart. Her music career might not have launched like she thought it would, but that doesn't mean Top Model fans have lost her angelic voice forever.
She don't want to be here no more.
Oh, shit.
Number 6. The origin of tie-tie. We've gotten some truly insightful peeks behind the curtain here, but who is Tyra really? Though it seems unlikely, she is a mere mortal like us. They say you can't truly get to know someone until they do a cross-promotion with some genetic family tree company, and so that's what happens in Cycle 21 when the girls, and boys in the house, learn about their ancestors. I love how she introduces this to the models, by the way, by seemingly calling into question their very identities. It's like any minute a bunch of police officers are gonna bust in and reveal it was all a sting operation.
We know who we are now, right? Yes! We think we know who we are.
Adam looks particularly nervous. Denzel not so much. After all, no one will recognize him with his brand new face weave.
Denzel is getting top model's very first face weave!
This is apparently worthy of a 2-part story arc, so we had to wait a week before getting the juicy answers we craved. The tests have come back, and the result? Cultural appropriation. See, in the future, all ethnicities will blend together, and we'll all have a robot boyfriend? I don't know. Poor Corey. Anyway, this is all just filler for the real story. Who or what is Tyra?
You all found out all about your DNA, and at the end of judging, I am going to discover my own.
So stay tuned, the actual content is coming. Sadly, no explanation is given for Kelly Catrone's boots. Yeah, it's super sad someone is going home. What's Tyra's story? She just waltzes out of judging into what appears to be a fortune teller's den. This is so sad. I mean, they just threw a Pier 1 lamp onto a table covered in a wrinkly sheet and called it a day. What follows is a combination of genuinely interesting family history and Tyra smiling like a madwoman because she's got totally rare genetics, y'all.
Rich is rare. You serious? What? An entrepreneur. So he was a hero. Holla, holla, holla. Hero.
She also gets to try out her fiercely real accent, because she is British now.
Am I?
And now we know that not only is Tyra a supermodel mogul, she's a proud Native American. Can't wait till we meet her robot boyfriend! Number 7. All Hail Tyra! One of my favorite parts of watching the audition shows is waiting for Tyra's entrance, because that's when all the girls start falling over themselves like it's the second coming of Jesus. As the show goes along, it gets progressively more ridiculous, but each one is its own special brand of narcissism. Hey, did y'all know Tyra's a singer?
My models sail over the ocean. My models sail over the sea. They sail on the seas of fashion.
There were many of these intros to choose from, but I think one of my favorites has to be, hands down, the Goddess of Fierce.
The Goddess of Fierce.
Mwah! For the season opener of Cycle 12, the girls meet the Jays, and they're already super pumped, so you know the reaction to the big cheese is gonna be huge. It's an honor and a privilege to see the Jays because, as Fo says, they look like dolls.
It was like their doll. They look like dolls.
Our dolls in waiting welcome the contestants to Caesar's Palace, otherwise known by absolutely no one as the Temple of Tyra.
Better known as the Temple of Tyra.
Skip ahead to that evening, and an entire squadron of Roman soldiers comes marching out chanting "Fierce" over and over again. What could this be? Why, it's Tyra in her truest form. Is she a woman or something more? Some say she sprung forth fully grown on the catwalk of Mount Olympus. She is
The Goddess of Fierce.
The girls wet themselves with hysteria.
She just looks so like a complete Barbie doll. They're dolls. They look like dolls.
Not only does Tyra appear as the Goddess of Fierce, but she created an entire backstory for her character. As she regales us with her tale of being the Goddess of Fierce for 2,000 years, the girls really do react like they've been visited by a divine presence. She says she's looking for a successor, which is a whole load of baloney, but also weirdly sexual.
Looking for someone to light my chariot of fire.
Somebody hose this woman's chariot down. And after all of the worship, the Goddess of Fierce exits by saying she needs some grapes fed to her and giving them the loser sign. We were all better for having been visited by the Father, the Son, and the Holy Host. you need more smize in your life, stay tuned, because part 2's coming up.
You wanna be on top? Wanna be on top?